Have you ever wanted to guest on a podcast like this one that you're listening to right now? Well, you can. You can definitely do this by visiting a website called Podmatch, where you can sign up and be available for all different types of podcasts that you can guest on. Or you can even search for a podcast and say, I want to guest on your podcast. I think we'd be a good match. So if you want to do this, you can go to our unique link, which is joinpodmatch.com/reality, and you can sign up and do exactly that. And you can find us and you can guest on our podcast. So again, that unique link is www.joinpodmatch.com. That's joinpodmatch.com/reality, REALITEA, and you can be a guest on our podcast. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing 90 Day OG. So, all of the memes are on our socials, and we will have some hot goss for the toe episode, so you can look forward to that on that one. And as a quick announcement, we will be combining both last week's toe episode and this week's toe episode into one. Last week's we'll just briefly kind of go through it, but put the main focus on this week's episode. And the announcement for the break is coming up on December 7th, recording break on December 7th until January 7th. And all information for that is also on our social, so you can take a look over there. So let's get into the reason that we are here. 90 Day OG, Season 10, Episode 8. Do you take one another? So let's hop into it. Okay, so let's jump in with Sophie and Rob. So we see her packing up the place. We're kind of left off where we were before. She's going to be going back to the house with him. He makes this comment at one point where he's like, I just hope she knows that she's got a good guy. He just made a mistake. 2, you got to make the same fucking mistake twice? Like, at that point, like, you being a good guy is now starting to be a little questionable. Anyway, she says in the car that she has an emotional migraine, and now she's starting to backpedal on the things that she was saying before, which is now, he didn't really cheat on me. He just did something to hurt me. Okay. You classified what he was doing to you this time and the time prior as cheating. Cheating doesn't mean just physically cheating. Cheating can also mean emotional cheating. Now, I know that everyone's idea of cheating is different, but the mere fact that she called this cheating prior and is now backpedaling and is now trying to say it's not actually cheating is where the problem lies. You kind of see her in real time trying to justify her reasons for staying with him. And it's actually so sad to see. It's so sad to see because of the fact that she's 23 years old. She's still really young. Her brain hasn't developed yet. And yeah. I would have more respect, honestly, if she would just you choose to stay, fine, choose to stay, but then don't justify the reasons for staying. Just stay. Don't justify it to me, the audience, or to anyone really, to make yourself feel better about your decision. Because that's what it basically is. You're trying to make yourself feel better about your decision. So she also then says that she doesn't feel like it's realistic for them to be getting married in the next 90 days. And she does put the ring back on. Ma'am doesn't even know which finger to put it on. And that's that. I think we saw this before too, but anyway. Next scene, we see that he has a surprise for her. He has something planned for her at the beach. Basically, he got a rental. But you know, the house is fine. It's okay. It's not like a fabulous looking house. She says that he resorts to buying me nice things when really and truly all I kind of need from him is to be nice. Yeah, he's trying to buy your acceptance. He's trying to buy your love, is what he's doing, and you let him. So yeah, she says that. Oh, sorry, no, he says, you know what this place has? Guess what this place has? A bathroom inside. Wow. Wow. Who knew you can get a fucking bathroom inside your house? He's acting like this is some phenomenon. Like, you know what I mean? Because then he follows that up with saying, guess it's not that hard to find a place with a bathroom inside. No shit, Sherlock. It's really not. It's really not that difficult. Yeah. So then we are in the next scene and they're sitting by the fire. And he got her her favorite meal, which is an Indian dish. She had said she really likes Indian food. And he says, like, in the moment, that he wants to act like killing nothing. Or maybe she says that I don't want him acting like nothing happened. Um, and he says, like, none of it was appropriate. Do you forgive me? Duh. Yeah, she forgives you. She forgives you to the point where it's ridiculous how much mm. Anyway, she says, if this happens again, I will be gone. He will call your fucking bluff. You need to do like what Shekinah did to Sarper, which we'll get to when we cover that episode. We need to kind of do a little bit. I'm not bluffing with you, sir. I'm fucking done and I'm fucking out. Listen, you need to scare men a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit to get your point fucking across. So he understands you mean fucking business. Even if you have full intentions of coming back to him, you need to scare the man a little bit more than a day. He needs to feel like your ass is about to pack up and head home. That's what you need to be doing, and say, by the way, how's that feel? How does it feel to know that I'm leaving? That will scare him fucking straight. You gotta treat men like children. I've said this before. So it's he's never gonna believe you because you haven't made him think you're being like serious. So he's forever going to call your fucking bluff. But that's what she says. She says that she'll be gone if he does it again. And she says, I will be going through your phone. You know, like I don't want to, but I will be going through your phone because I need to be sure you're being honest with me. And he says, like, just remember our potential future. Like he talks like a cult leader. That's exactly what he does. He talks like a fucking cult leader. Like, forget that. Forget that shit over there. Just pay attention to what I'm saying here. Fuck the past. Focus on our future, and that's what's gonna make you stay. Fuck you, sir. Really and truly. Anyway, then he makes some joke about how he's gonna like live in a hobbit hole or some shit. Anyways, moving on. In the next scene, we see Sophie is calling her mom, and she's at an internet cafe, and her mom is like, that is so sad that you feel like you have to like call me instead of staying with your fiance. Like, that is so sad. So sad. I love her mother. I love her so much. It's so sad. She's like, no, just because I need privacy. I don't have anywhere else to go. You have a whole ass bathroom across the courtyard where you can talk to your mom. Anyway, so she says, like, are you staying with him? Like, what's happening? I haven't talked to you. And Sophie tells her, yeah, I'm staying with him. And she says, when this happened, we weren't physically together or anything. See the justification happening again? And her mom calls her out on it in a second. She's like, it's not like he was like, we were together or anything. He didn't actually cheat on me. You just see her saying that shit. And her mom says, it's on you at this point. You're making these decisions, expecting a different results. It's absolute insanity. Thank you. Give this ma'am a round of applause because yes, you have, this is a thing. I truly believe, and as a person who got married about a year after she did, you have to like go through life, go through these relationships, have some fucked shit happen to you from these men. And that's when you kind of start to realize, okay, I know what I want. I know what I need. And you can take that and somewhat apply that into a relationship where you see a marriage potentially happening. I don't think you figure that out at 23 because I sure as fuck didn't. You don't figure that out at 23. I feel like, 25, 26 is a good time to be kind of like, okay. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but it really, truly is, especially for women. It really is. Like 25, 26, it's a good age to kind of be like, okay, let me put my feelers out there, see what I can find. And by say 27, 28, you're married. And hopefully you're going to marry a man who's maybe a little older than you and maybe has some potential to be somewhat mature to whatever extent he can be mature at that age. Because we all know, takes a while for a man to become, I don't know if they really do mature, really and truly. Anyway, so yeah, this is basically what her mom is saying. And Sophie then says, like, I know he wasn't like real cheating, like I said before, because I was tracking his phone and he was always home. Ma'am. Okay. See, no, you're not allowed. This is when I would step in and say, you know what, ma'am, you're not allowed to get married. You're not allowed because you are fucking clueless for what you think that fucking means. Who gives a shit if he was home all the time? Clearly he was cheating on you because he's going on to fucking Chatterbait and talking to women on Chatterbait and having them send him nudes and videos and shit. And he's sending them back to those women. Clearly he's doing some shit when he's up in his house. But then you don't think he can have some woman come into his house and give him a blowjob here and there and he fucks them in his fucking home where his phone's fucking is. And listen. And here's the thing. She's acting like, oh, he doesn't know that. You think he's that stupid? He probably does fucking know. He's not smart by any means, but he probably does fucking know that all I gotta do is leave my fucking phone at home and my body is going elsewhere. I'm sorry, but like, if you are that stupid to actually think that this man staying home doesn't mean he's cheating, you, ma'am, should not be getting married. I rest my fucking case. I'm sorry. The whole world probably screamed watching this episode when she said that and thinking, oh my God, she's an idiot. Like, and I mean that in the best possible way because I don't think she's an idiot, but I think she's trying to justify herself and justify things to her mom. But I wished her mom in this moment was like, and so that doesn't mean anything. Oh my God. And again, like him going, staying home doesn't stop a woman from coming to his house, doesn't stop him from picking up a woman to go back to his house, doesn't mean anything. Yes, this is a little different than like Jasmine. Evidence report is a little different because she's been there, so she knows different places. But You don't. Anyway, enough of that. Her mom says that, when I met him, he was boring. And I love that she constantly says this man is boring. I love it so much. But yeah, she's like, he was boring. And but he only makes you happy like 35.8% of the time. What a precise number. 35 point. My girl's been doing the math. She's been over there in her calculator and being like, okay, so carry the two. Like, you know what I mean? It's so precise. So mom says now I've been looking at flights. And listen, I can be there in like a week or two. Yes. Come through. As all I can think. And she says that she like doesn't want her mom to get into arguments with Rob. She doesn't want her mom to, create tension with Rob. But she kind of says like how they would get into arguments when they were in Mexico because she didn't like how Rob was talking to her. And then Rob would get involved in these little tiffs that she would get into with her mom and didn't like how her mom was talking to her. Sir, but the fuck out. Clearly these two women have an amazing relationship and she really loves her mom and her mom really loves her. And mother and daughter having tiffs back and forth or getting into arguments back and forth, it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. Okay. Their relationship is perfectly fine for the most part. Not always the case, but I'm talking in this case in particular. Sir, butt the fuck out. The only time that I would think, okay, you can get involved in something is if her mother's really truly being really toxic towards her, then I'll give you the pass. But when they're having little arguments here and there, that's not the end all be all of their relationship, but the fuck out. You don't know shit. You know dick all. How about you worry about your damn self and stop worrying about her relationship with her mother? She got this. I fucking hate this guy. But anyways, that's kind of it with Rob and Sophie. So Nick and Devin. So this is pretty quick. There's not a whole lot here. I think it's going to pick up next week. So Nick and Devin. We see them heading to the States. He says he will be homesick, but they'll come back. That's what Devin says. They'll come back. They see a robot and she's freaked out. She's like, that's the robot. That's the robot. So she's like freaking out about this robot. And then 18 hours later, they land in good old Memphis. And we see like this MJ impersonator dancer thing. And I said, no, sir, no. No, 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 no. No, no. I have seen some amazing MJ impersonators. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. Anyway, so yeah. So there we see her parents, and they seem quite lovely. I'm very happy that these two sets of parents seem just phenomenal. So they seem lovely. Mom is just a bit worried, about the unknowns of their relationship. They haven't seen them together before. So there's a little, unsure of that. And that's fair. He notices here as he steps off the plane into fucking Memphis. No offense to Memphis. It's where Elvis is. It's Graceland. But I'm saying, he does notice though. He's the only Asian in Memphis. So he's like, ugh. And he is kind of like a little worried about the parking garage and all of this. He's like, oh, it's, it's big. It's so bright. Because it's also actually very positive. Until she says, this is not really a great place. It's not very safe here. And he's like, oh, let's get the fuck out. Let's get the fuck out. Let's go. Get in our car. Get the fuck out of here. Smart. Because I don't know who hasn't seen this movie. I can't remember the name of the movie now. But there's this movie with Halle Berry and one of the Fanning sisters. Not Dakota, her sister. I think it was her sister. It definitely wasn't Dakota Fanning. It was Elle Fanning. That's her sister's name. And I think it was her. And Halle Berry is the 911 operator, and she's literally on call as my girl's getting kidnapped in a fucking parking garage. Uh-huh. Ever since I saw that movie, it scars the living life out of me, and I don't enter parking garages quite the same after seeing that movie, which was years ago now. But let's just say if I go into a parking garage, which I do, pretty much at least weekly, I do. I'm very aware of my surroundings. And if you haven't watched the movie and you want to fuck your world up, by all means, go watch the movie, and then you too will have your world fucked up. That's it. But anyways, that's it for Nick and Devin. Like I said, it was very quick. Not much there to talk about. So let's go into Gino and Jasmine very quick too. Not a whole lot, but absolutely entertaining nonetheless. So Gino, we see him doing the steps, and he doesn't think like she should be getting upset about past relationships. It is what it is. It's done. It's over with. Like, she's the future, right? We've talked about this already in last week's episode. I'm not going to get into it again, but I understand both sides. Like, I would rather just not see those things. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care, because you're with those people, but now you're with me, so whatever. But Jasmine's a different person, different beast altogether. So then with that in mind, I'm like, Gino, but you know Jasmine, so you should have prepared. So Jasmine comes home and she says to Coco, "Where's your father?" "Oh, he's upstairs. Let's go." So they go upstairs, and she says, "I would love to know about something." He's like, "Yeah, what?" And she's like, "What did you do the day before I arrived?" And he acts so stupid and shit. He's like, "The day before you arrived, the day before you arrived, let me check my calendar. I didn't go out though. I didn't go out that night, before you came here. If that's what you want to know. My calendar's real clear. I don't understand." And I'm thinking, clearly, that's what she's getting at, because you literally went to, I didn't go out though. Like, that's literally what you did. Like, stay stupid. Stay stupid. Like, anyway. But yeah, and what? And she says, "What about you going out with Dana and Anthony?" And he says, "Oh, my bachelor's party? Oh, look at that. Oh shit, yeah, it's right there. You know what? It was invisible ink. It just came up. I didn't see it on my calendar before, but it's there now. Would you look at that? Are you stupid?" This guy, stay stupid, man. Stay stupid. So anyways, he he's like, "What's up with that?" And she's like, "That's a good question. I'd love to know, what is up with that." What's up with that? That's your response, Gino? What's up with that? And she asks, "Why didn't you tell me about the bachelor party?" Because based on what we heard her tell Michelle, it's a fair question. And he says, "I just didn't want you to get mad, because you're coming to America, and I didn't want you to get." She was already mad, sir. You just should have ripped the Band-Aid off. You know what I mean? But he's like, "I just didn't want you to get mad or anything." Because she literally says, "It's fair. I get it. I had my bachelorette party, so I get it. I'm not mad that you did it. I'm mad that you didn't tell me." Like, why do you gotta lie? Why you always lying? I don't understand. That's what she's getting at. Mind you, she's mad about the strippers. Let's be very real. Despite what she says, she's mad about the fucking strippers. When she sees this footage, y'all, she's going to fuck his world all the way up. Can't wait. Anyway, so she says, "Stupid excuse, but when were you gonna tell me?" And he's like, I don't think that was a stupid excuse. She doesn't give a shit. It was a stupid excuse. And he says, I wasn't going to, actually, unless you asked. And I hate this shit. I wasn't going to. You didn't ask. How in the world's fuck would I think to ask you as if I'm a fucking mind reader? By the way, did you go to the strip club? Are you, I didn't know I was supposed to fucking know that to ask you the fucking question. Stay stupid. I didn't I understand Jasmine and her being upset. Like, she's a little over the top, but in this moment, I understand why she's upset because, like, I didn't think to think. Because she literally says, how would I know to ask you that? How would I know to ask you this question when we had an agreement about this whole thing? And then you went behind my back and did completely something different and then didn't tell me. I have to find out from Dana's wife that you went on this thing. So why does Dana tell his wife about what's happening, but you can't tell me? Well, they're two different people. That's why. But that's besides the point. You should have said something. Lie a little. Say it wasn't your idea. Say it was Dana and Anthony's idea and they wanted to take you and you like, I gotta go. You know? Or lie and say, I didn't know we were going to a strip club. Say something. I don't care. Say something. Anyway. So she's like, so where did you go? And he's like, the strip club. And he's like, I didn't ask for any dances or anything. I didn't touch anyone. Then we see the clip of him, like, women's boobs are on the back of his head. He's like playing ass bongos and shit. And yeah, like he's all into this. And I actually saw this on Pillow Talk and I thought this was a good point. Not once did Gino's hat fall off his head. My lord. Was it double-sided tape or something? Like, how does your hat not fall off at any point during this whole thing? So, yeah. He says, it was just a fun night. And why are you so mad? And she says, your attitude is why I am so mad. Because you lied. And I think she says, or at least maybe I say, you try to justify the reason for the lie. That's the issue here. Instead of just owning up to the fact, yeah, I should have told you, you somehow turn us around and be like, what are you going to be so mad for? It wasn't a big of a deal. Like, that's what you do. And that's why she gets pissed off with you. I would be pissed off with you in that moment. I would be so fucking mad. Fuck you and your bullshit. You know, I don't. She's over the top and I understand that. But in this moment, I'm like, I'm on her side. I'm on her side completely. Now, I'm not saying it feels like cheating. I wouldn't say that, but you lied to me. That's not okay. So she says, I don't want to marry you. And then he says, I can't marry someone who gets mad like this. Who gets mad at lies? I didn't realize if my man lied to me, I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to be mad? Are we not supposed to be mad about lying? Take the significant other out of it. If someone lies to you, don't you get mad? That's the issue here. But they've had constant issues one after the other. So, yeah. When it rains, it pours, right? So he continues on by saying, you're overreacting, over a over a once in a lifetime party. Sir, you're getting married a second time. You're trying to tell me that you never had a bachelor party before? This is not a once in a lifetime opportunity. You've had this before. Give me a fucking break. Jesus. Anyways, he's like, you're acting like I cheated. This is where I said, that's how it feels. That's what she says. I don't agree with that part. But anyways, then she throws the ring at him. Who else threw the ring? Who else threw the ring? She's trying to become a Larissa here. Because didn't she say she flushed the ring down the toilet? She actually didn't. She stuck it up her butt. It's a little different than Larissa. And then she throws the ring at him. Didn't Larissa do the same thing? Ma'am. My goodness. Anyways, so she throws the ring at him and says, give it to somebody else. And she walks away because he's still talking. And she's like, fuck you, Gino. um, and this dog's face, while she's like just ranting and raving and crying about the whole situation, he's like, help. He's literally on his face is like, get me the fuck out of here. These fucking people are crazy. Like, that's literally. We need to start a petition that says save Coco. So, anyways, but she says, I made a mistake. And she wants to go home. And he says it's becoming too much. That's true. I have to give him that. It is becoming too much. I understand. I do understand that it's becoming a little too much with all of this nonsense and her crying and her tears and all of this. But maybe you shouldn't have lied. Maybe that's an option. Anyway, that is it for Gino and Jasmine. We're going to take a little break here. When we come back, we will be jumping in with Nikki and Justin Igor. Do you want to spice up your love life? Well, you can make that happen by going to Love Shop, where you can get sorts of different things, whether it's for both you and your partner or just for yourself. For solo play, you can get things, all types of vibrators, maybe more kinky type toys, or you can just buy what every person may need, like lingerie or protection, or even just something to make it a little more fun, like games or novelty things. You can do all of this by going to Love Shop, and you can use our unique coupon code RealityT2 to get 10% on anything your heart's desire. So that's loveshop.ca, loveshop.ca, and use our unique coupon code REALITY2. That's REALITEA and the number 2. And we are back. So, as mentioned, we are going to jump in with Nikki and Justin Igor. So, we kind of, I guess, learn in this moment on the way to his parents' house that this is where he found out how cows fuck each other. Who knew that we need to have that piece of information? And now 'tis not the time. So, just to do the rundown, we're meeting his stepdad, Daniel, his mom, Maya, and their cute little pup, Jessica. I know there's another name and I missed it, but Jessica. This sweetie pie. Oh, so cute. So, again, these parents just seem lovely. Mom wasn't surprised that they had gotten back together. She mentions that he really suffered a lot after the breakup. Probably took him a couple of years to come back from that. So we kind of are going through pictures, and we see pictures of Justin Igor when he was little. And then we see pictures of Justin Igor, Nikki, and his parents. See a couple of different ones. One we've kind of seen, and the other one we haven't seen. She doesn't even have. The second picture is actually from their first engagement party. And Nikki says to Mom, I'm really happy to know that you actually kept these photos. Like, you could have ripped them up. And she's really happy about that. And then Justin Igor starts pretending like he's going to rip the picture up because it kind of has a little bit of a tear in it because the picture is like 20 years old. So, but yeah, Mom says a mother never forgets. That's the fucking reason she said this. I'm going to stop putting any credence into these coming up bonds, or next time ons, I should say. Like, anyway. So then we kind of see like Nikki's eating some chocolate, and she has like chocolate all up in her teeth. It's kind of gross. But Nikki says that she will try to not be so difficult and more understanding, is what she's saying to him. And you kind of see them like being kissy and flirty, and I guess everything is okay. So she mentions to Mom, so we're about 4 months out from him potentially being approved. And she asks, like, how do you feel about him coming back to America again? And she says, I will miss him. And Mom is kind of getting upset at remembering when he left the first time and probably how difficult that was. And then she gets up and she's out because she is getting so emotional. And Justin Igor goes after her, and she says, like, feelings are infested, and, this is difficult, and this is her son, and kind of seeing how things happened before. Like, I get her. And her mom's her mom says that her psyche can't handle him leaving again. But he says to her, you are a big girl, you can handle this, you got this. But yeah, like at the end of the day, like that's her son. And, that's not easy to have your child go halfway across the world. And they go back in, and Nikki asks, is she okay? And she says that a child is a piece of their mother. Basically saying that, my heart is outside of my body, and that is my child, right? Nikki says, like, I can see you really love your son, and I want you to know that he is in good hands with me. Very sweet. He then translate this to his parents as, she says everything will be okay, and some other English words. What? Say what she said, because it was very sweet. Because it feels very dismissive, the way you just described it. Anyway, maybe he didn't understand. I don't know. Then his mom hugs her. And I noticed here, as Nikki is saying something else, I completely don't know what she said, because she's saying it in an accent, and like trying to somewhat mimic a Moldovan accent. Was I the only one who caught this, or maybe it sounded like a caveman? I don't know, but she sounded ridiculous, and I'm thinking, no, 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 stop it. This is not making you just not making them understand you more. They don't speak English, so putting on a stupid accent isn't going to make it any better. Anyways, so she does ask, how did you accept what I am, when obviously knowing that the culture is what it is? And his mom says, it's different times. Everyone chooses their own path. People are better now. Fair. I mean, we're getting there. We still got a ways to go, but we're getting there. And she respects their choices. But Nikki just wants to double check and to be sure, do we have your blessing? She says yes, the end. That's it. I mean, I really have nothing else to say really on this. Everything seemed to have done pretty well. I mean, next week looks real interesting. But I really have nothing else to say on it. So that's it for Justin, Igor, and Nikki. Ashley and Manuel. My God. So they're going to go out. She says they're going to be out all day. So she's telling him wear comfortable shoes and all that. And she says, Rico, get off the table. We don't go on the table. You know better. Why are you on the table? So she says to him. So She says, we need to get coffee. While she already has coffee in her hand. Yeah, I know y'all clocked this. She had coffee in her hand and said she needs to get another coffee. He tells her, bring the whole pot because you're probably going to need it because apparently you have a problem. He says to us, she drinks a lot of coffee. We're about to see this. He says, save the money. Why spend the money on more coffee when you just save the money? But there is no saving, she says. She says that I might save $8 on coffee. Shit. So she might save $8 on a coffee. But Ezra's going to go with something else. Because there's going to be something else that needs money. I hear you, but I hear him too. Then they get into the car. And she is like spilling the coffee. He's laughing about her spilling the coffee. Then she tells him, hold the coffee to help her live. Best line. Hold this, let me live. So she says, sorry, so she's holding, okay, let's do the inventory here. She's given him a mason jar of coffee. She then opens what is clearly a Starbucks canned coffee. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? But wait, there's more. She also has a travel mug that most likely has coffee in it as well. What the actual fuck is happening here? He asks, are you an octopus? Because you need to drive, you have your phone, you have your coffee. It's like, what the fuck? And she feels that he's picking at things. Ma'am, you have a problem, and he's just trying to address it. And then this shit, she calls Alicia, who we'll see later, because she is about to cry. And she tells Alicia what is happening between her and Manuel in English, obviously, while the man is right beside her. Are you fucking dumb? He knows you're talking about him when you said the word coffee. Come on. Don't talk about, and he literally says she is talking about me like I'm not even here. Yes, she is. Because she's banking on the fact that you don't fucking know English and is talking about you to Alicia in English while you're right there beside her. That is some bullshit. You don't do that. I literally watched it the first time. I say, my eyes went wide. I said, she's doing this right in front of him. I know he doesn't understand the language, but ma'am. So he's getting upset about that. And I said, man, well, start learning some English so you can catch on to this shit. And so then Alicia says, do you think this is bigger than the coffee? You think? He's not arguing about the coffee. He's just irritated. I would be too. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't do everything at once. I'd rather you drive the fucking car, not crash the fucking car. Like, ma'am, I'm going to use your words. You're at a 12, but I need you at a 2. Okay? Anyway, so then in the next scene, we see Alicia and Solly, that's his name, are here, our who knew married couple. And we are at some candle making place. Cool. This place apparently has over 100 different scents. My Jesus. So she's just now realizing that they have a lot of shit to work on. You just now realize this? You didn't realize it with the cell phone situation? You just now realize, ma'am, you just now realize that instead of talking your shit out, you fuck. But you just now realize after the coffee, him there say, you the therapist are clowns. And that he ain't going back. And some other shit. And you just now realize you got problems. Okay. Clearly she ain't clear nothing. Because I don't think she's clear anything anyway. She says she's a witch, but don't witches know something? I don't know what, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways. So they are, she says that they're on the same page in the bedroom, but not everywhere else. Again, felt this in my bones because been there, done that. Yeah, you are always going to be on the same page in the bedroom because y'all got the same goal in the bedroom, and that is to reach orgasm. Okay, we can all agree in the bedroom because we all got the same goal, right? As long as sex is good, y'all got the same goal. But outside of the bedroom is when it's hardest and when the communication needs to be at its best. I mean, she's my age and I know, like, I knew this shit 10 years ago. How do you not know this? Anyway, so she says prior to him coming here, so we're talking like the first time they were together, they didn't have a whole lot of time alone to get to kind of know each other. They were always in a group setting. She says it kind of worked backwards with their relationship. And I said, okay, I understand that, but you must have been alone at some time, clearly. But clearly, you're only alone when you're fucking. Or not. That's your life. But I'm just saying. So, anyway, so this lady comes and explains to everybody what to do with the scents and the candles and all of that. And this was so perfect. Manuel says, you explained that so good. It's a shame I didn't understand what you were saying. But she does explain to him everything, so it's fine. So they kind of start talking about the wedding planning and all of that. So they got the head count down, about 30 people. They've ordered his suit, so we're getting there. And she says, we're connecting in the sense of we're cooking together. Actually, correction, he's cooking. I'm providing the food because I eat like a bird. Tweet, tweet. Okay, cool. So then they start talking about the money situation and sending the money to his family. So did you end up doing this? $250. Did you send it? And she says, we did send it. And she says, like, sending money has been kind of a tense subject between them because she feels like this is something she needs to get used to doing. She's not used to doing this, which is fair. She's not used to doing this. He hasn't given her enough time to get used to the idea. But this is where I say, what the fuck do y'all talk about? You had how many, like 2-3 years or whatever it was before he got here. What the fuck did you guys talk about? He maybe he thought, duh, I'm gonna send money back to my family, especially my children. But I mean, somewhere, some way, y'all needed to talk. I don't know who needed to initiate, but we have two stupid fools here who haven't initiated shit. So she didn't think that he would leave the family high and dry, but my God, she didn't expect this. What did you expect? We'll get into more. He feels bad that it is coming from her pocket because Sully asks, like, are you, like, do you feel a certain way knowing it's coming from her pocket? He says he does feel bad about it. But he says, she helps me now, I will be helping her later. Like he's going to pay it forward or something. I don't know. And then he says the most important thing that I think doesn't need explanation. It doesn't need anything. It takes common fucking sense. He says, she knows she is marrying a man with kids. She says this. He said something later. Sorry, I'm ahead. He said something later, but she says, I know I'm marrying a man with kids, but she didn't know how deep it would be. How deep does it get besides children? That's pretty fucking deep. He has kids for whom he fucked a woman, call it 15 years ago, got her pregnant, and she delivered a baby 9 months later. So that is his blood. Then he fucked again the same woman about 13 years after, or 13 years later, or 13 years ago, so about a year later, a year to two later, and got her pregnant again, for which 9 months later, she delivered another baby who was again his blood. That is his fucking kids, for which he needs to provide for. How much deeper do you need it to go? Like, I don't understand. Let's put this in terms that she understands. When a dick goes deep to the point where it hits where you think a wall in your pussy and you're just like, fuck. That's how deep this is. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Like, I don't understand. When she said this, I'm like, what do you mean? They're his kids. That's about as deep as it gets. Like, I'm so confused. So she does say that the children's mom, apparently isn't around like she should be. She's not, doing maybe what she needs to do financially. So the financial care lies heavily on him. Here's what I'm going to say. I do understand what she's trying to say here, that these two people made these children together. They should both be financially providing for them equally. I 100% get that and agree with her on that. However, do we fucking complain when a mother has to do it on her own? Even if the father is around? Do we complain then? No. So then why are we complaining that a father has to have the financial burden heavily put on him? Why is it then a fucking problem? Here's why it's a problem for her. It's a problem because she's the one who will have to provide. She's the one that would be affected because she's marrying him. She would be the one affected by everything having to do with these children. And she probably doesn't want that. That's why. Has nothing to do with anything else. She's just thinking about herself. Maybe I'm too far out of left field, but that's what I feel. So then she says, this would be a monthly bill. And for some fucking reason, Sully is shocked that it would be a monthly bill. What do you mean? He has kids. Of course it's going to be. I hate the term monthly bill because that made me like shiver a little bit. But it is a monthly bill. His children are always going to have a need, and they're still underage. They're still dependent on their parents. Come on, let's not be done. So she wants to know if he expects money to be sent every month. Yes, he says yes. Duh. He's like, oh, you want figures? You want a figure? You want numbers? Okay, how about $300 a month? And he thinks that these questions are dumb. So here's the thing. This question, he's probably under the impression came from her friends. It actually didn't. It came from her. She's asking the question, but she's asking the question in front of her friends, which is the issue. How about you guys try having this conversation among the two of you? That's an option. Anyways, he says that this is none of one's business. I think he would feel the same way even if Ashley asks this question, but he explains, he's like, listen, I would make $600. I don't know if this is exactly what he would make, but he would make $600. Half would go to his family, his kids. And he says, even if they needed more than that, I would give them more than that. No problem. That's what you do. Alicia gets that he is under pressure, but it shouldn't fall on Ashley's shoulders, basically. And I said, I hear you, but when you make a decision to marry a man who has children who are still underage, guess what? It does become her problem. But it does become her. You're not just marrying him. You're marrying into what his lifestyle is and what his lifestyle needs. And that is to provide for his kids. So yes, it is her problem. Fuck that bullshit. Think of it this way, when she met him, he had kids. She's only ever known him as a father. So fuck that bullshit. It is her problem. So Alicia asks, since you got here, you've kind of made your family more of a priority than Ashley. Yeah, but his kids are always going to be his priority. But I hear what you're trying to say. She says, so then why are you here? Fair question. But I would also ask Ashley, why did you make him come here? I would turn that all around back on her and say, you're making a decision to be married to a man who has children, who has, um, he has expectations of him. So why did you bring him here? That can go both ways. Come on. So he says, if it's about money, I'll pay you back. If it's about marriage, I have people that I care. Oh, sorry. I have people that come with me. Then he starts talking about the pets and her pets. And she says she'll spend $130 on vet bills, but has a problem sending money to the family. Alicia says, okay, but that's different. But it's the principle, what he's trying to get at. And she says, but yeah, everyone wants Ashley's money. It's not your money, it's her money. Then he gets up and he leaves and he's ranting and raving about the vet bill. And he's like, I'm going to go home. I'm walking home. And he does dip. He dips and goes home. I think, anyways. But Solly says, okay, I'm going to go after him, see if I can find him, blah, blah, blah. And she says here that she's starting to realize that this is not going to be easy. Bitch, again, I'm going to give you the same energy that I gave you earlier. What the fuck did you think? That this was going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and then everything's going to be just paycheck? That's what you thought? I can't deal with stupid. I can't deal with stupid. Anyways, that's it for Ashley and Manuel. All right, so let's finish up with Clayton and Annalie. We're going to rush through this a little bit, but I'm going to try to get through all of it and try to make it fun as I do. So we're having a kiddie pool going on here, and he's going to be bathing the guinea pigs. She doesn't want to do it. She's like, they're his pets. They're his problem. I don't want to do it. I don't blame her. I don't want to. But they're so cute. They made little noises. They're like, I don't know what the noises they're making, but he says they're excited. They're so cute. And then he puts them back into the cage. He's like, this one's stressed. So they do kind of start talking about Brandy and whether or not he's heard from her. And he says that he did hear about Brandy through talking to his mom, who said that she made it back home okay. She's actually lives in Indiana, which we'll see in a little bit. So yeah, it's basically that scene. So then we see Annalie is going for a little walk and she's going to call her mom. And this broke my little heart. So she just wants a little privacy to talk to her mom. She doesn't want to talk to her in the apartment because she has small quarters. So the first thing her mom ends up saying is that her glucose level is down to 300, which apparently is high. I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to glucose, but it says it's high. And this is when you find out, fuck, the mom is sick. And then that's going to make you hate Brandy just a little bit more. So Annalie says that her mom's health has been a little delicate for about 8 years now. She says her mom has diabetes, arthritis, and osteoporosis. Jesus. She feels sad because, it was hard to choose between her mom and her fiance. But Annalie fills her mom in on everything that's been going on with the apartment, the mom in the closet, Brandy, all the whole bit. And she also filled her in on the guinea pigs being bathed as well. And apparently my guy is allergic to guinea pigs. Sir, and like Annalie says in this moment, why the fuck do you have the guinea pigs then if you're allergic to them? That's a very good question. Why? So dumb. Like, I understand if you want a pet, but like even here in my home, we wanted to get my brother a rabbit. Because we've had rabbits before. My mom had a rabbit when I was little. And we were just discussing that. But then we're like, okay, maybe that's not a good idea because we have allergies. Or I don't think I really have allergies to the animals, but I do have other allergies. But we're like, okay, we have those allergies. Okay, let's talk about a hamster. Okay, but there's allergies there too. My mom did not want guinea pigs, so that was out. And we resort to a bird because we are probably going to be okay with a bird, which is why sometimes you hear him in the background. He's quiet right now. Knock on wood. Let's keep that up. So, yeah, do what you can. If you want a pet, fine, but come on now. So, mom says, be patient. Then we start talking about Brandy and the things that Brandy said. Mom is shocked about the reaction. And then she starts crying because she's like, I feel lonely here. And you have this bitch saying that you're here for the wrong reasons, but like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what's going on here. And I 100% believe it. She tells her she loves her. Annalise has it back. And yeah, that's kind of the end of the conversation. Annalise says here, listen, you only get one mom. I can get another boyfriend though. Yeah. So, anyways, 59 days to wed. Where the fuck has the time gone? And they haven't, well, I wrote here, they haven't had sex yet, question mark. They have, but it's just, they've barely had sex. So they're headed to Indiana. They're going to go see Brandy, but most importantly, they're going to have private time. And she asks, what do they have in Indiana? Because like how you say like Kentucky has horses, bourbon. What does Indiana have? And he says, drugs and corn. Oh my, I mean. So we're going to an apple orchard. I said here, Brandy looked so cute. But he also Clayton mentions about Brandy that, listen, when Brandy gets mad, she'll cut off family members for less, I guess. I don't know. So she asks how Annalise doing. Great start. She says she feels bad, Brandy, about how she was the last time. And she says there's just an information overload. And she'll keep her doubts to herself for now because, y'all, I got a lot of doubts. It's basically what she says. And she thanks them for coming back. She's like, because, I was acting like a turd the last time. And he says, that's what you want to call it? So Annalise says, thank you for saying that. She admits that Brandy admits that she took out all of her frustration about the situation on Annalise because she's like, I can't take it on you. You're my baby. And he doesn't really like that she said this. But anyways, Annalise tells her it was difficult to leave home because of her mom, and she explains that her mom is not well. So when Brandy said that she was here for a green card, she wanted to cry. And she wanted Clayton to actually move to Peru, not her come to the States. That's really telling. Brandy says, I'm so sorry, and hugs her. Oh my God. She says, ew, I hate crying. Because she starts crying. And she says, to Annalise says, I'm here for a bigger reason than just a green card. So Brandy's now all smiles. And she asks, how is it living with mom? And Clayton says, it's been fine, but it's hard when it comes to getting alone time. And Brandy's like, ew. Then he asks, well, how did you do it when you lived with mom and you got pregnant with Brooklyn? I guess his niece. And Brandy says, like this. And she bends over, y'all. Ass down, ass up. Or head down, ass up. Anyway, that's basically it. And he's like, no. So now Clayton and Annalise are headed to the hotel. He says that they haven't had sex in over a month. He says being sexually frustrated is hard. I get it, though, it is hard. He puts out like battery powered candles, for which he calls little doodads. And he pulls out lubricant because friction ain't your friend. I about died. And he also brought a Rubik's Cube because just in case she falls asleep and he gets bored. Okay. So he gets on the bed and he's all spread on the bed, and she comes in and she says, he looks like he's all sprawled out like a cow. And she starts dying. So then she says, you know what? I'm down for a massage, because he says she wanted to have more massages when she came to America. So she's all good for that. But she says, you know, do you want to turn or he asks her, do you want to turn the lights off? She says, yes, to sleep. He says, what? And he's a sad boy. So, yeah. No sex for him. And in the moment, he asks her, do you know what blue balls is? No? Okay, so I will explain to you. When a guy is ready to make babies, first mistake. That's not no. Anyways, when a man wants to have babies, but she doesn't want to, the testicles turn blue. Not literally, though, but she thinks it's literal. And she's like, ew, that's gross. But yeah, she says to be patient, but he says like it's getting hard for him. And he doesn't want to pressure her. So I'm like, so you will though? Like, I don't know. It is weird that she doesn't want to like have sex with him more often. However, if she doesn't, then I don't know what to tell him. So, but yeah, that's it for Annalee Clayton. That's it for the episode. But next time on New Couple is here. Finally. But you know what? He's done some things. He's done drugs before, guys. And I think he has another surprise that he has to tell her dad, who's a cop. He's real nervous about it. Great. Manuel is ignoring her while he watches soccer. I feel fucking triggered. Babe, you hear that? I felt so triggered. I got nearly ignored when he watched soccer too. Can't mess with the Latinos and the Africans when it comes to soccer. Anyways, Nick says that when he thinks about Americans, or when Koreans think about Americans, they eat greasy food and they're fat. And he says this to her family. And then he follows it up by saying, no wonder you're picky. Not cool, sir. Not cool. Her dad is like, the fuck you say? Yeah. And Sophie is about to drop her bomb. She's real nervous about it, but she's about to do it. And then we also, I guess, find out here that Justin and Igor most likely cheated on Nikki before he gave her the engagement ring. But that's it for next time on. Next week does look very interesting. But that's it for this week. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And you can rate a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I have a new thing that I want to start trying, and that is that every 4 or 5 star review that we get, I'll read it on the podcast. So if you want to hear your review on the podcast, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're able to rate and review. And if you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to Reality Tea Times 2 on Facebook, Reality Tea Times 2 podcast on Instagram, or Threads, Reality Tea Times 2 pod on Twitter. You can also find us on Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. And you can also email us at realitytimes2@hotmail.com. And don't forget, you can find us on YouTube at realitytimes2. You can also subscribe, like, comment on there as well. We greatly appreciate that. And don't forget that I do have another podcast with my friend Mikkel called Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different things. We currently have, this number can definitely change, but we currently have about 8 episodes. Roughly, we've talked about all kinds of different things. We have a lot of fun over there. So please go take a listen to us over at Next Take Podcast, which you can find us on YouTube at Next Take Podcast. You can also find us on our website, solo.to/Next Take Podcast. And don't forget, we have a website, and that is at solo.to/realitytimes2. And we also have a Discord, and I believe that's Reality Tea Times 2 as well. So you can find us there. But that's basically it. That's all the stuff. Of course, everything here that I've just listed will be in our show notes. All discount codes, special links to everything that we put in our ads are also in our show notes. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks so much. Bye. Have you ever thought of starting your very own podcast? Doing the research, I found something that would have made editing easy and seamless and makes the podcasting experience just that much easier. And I am talking about Ludo. This is a podcast software that I use for our editing of our episodes. It is amazing. It is easy. You're also able to get help from doing chats and getting the information that maybe you just need a little more help with. They also have access to different articles that can also help you that have been just godsends for me. Also with Ludo, you can create clips, you can do your ads, that's like this very one I'm doing right now, and you can create your trailer very seamlessly just by clicks of buttons. You can also use Ludo to publish your episodes just straight from the software. It's so easy. I highly, highly recommend it. You can get access to Ludo by using our unique link, which you can find on our show notes, just down there at the bottom at the show notes. And you can get access to an easy software